Once upon a time in Paris, there lived a little girl named Madeline. She was the smallest of 12 girls in an old house covered with vines. Miss Clavel, a nun, took care of them all. Madeline was known for her bravery and mischievous nature, always ready for an adventure. One night, Madeline woke up crying. She had a terrible pain in her tummy. Miss Clavel rushed to her side and knew something was wrong. She called the doctor, who came quickly. He examined Madeline and said she needed to go to the hospital immediately. At the hospital, the doctors discovered that Madeline had appendicitis. She needed surgery to remove her appendix. Madeline was scared, but she remained brave. The other girls were worried about their friend, but Miss Clavel assured them that Madeline would be fine. The surgery went well, and Madeline stayed in the hospital to recover. Her room was filled with flowers and get-well cards from her friends. The other girls missed Madeline terribly, and couldn't wait for her to come home. They visited her every day, bringing her toys and telling her stories. Madeline enjoyed her time in the hospital. She had a nice big bed all to herself, and plenty of ice cream to eat. The nurses were kind and took good care of her. Madeline even made friends with other children in the hospital, sharing her adventures with them. After a week, Madeline was ready to go home. She said goodbye to her new friends and thanked the doctors and nurses. Miss Clavel and the other girls came to pick her up. They were overjoyed to have Madeline back. They walked home together, singing happily through the streets of Paris. Back at the old house, Madeline showed everyone her scar from the surgery. The other girls were impressed by her bravery. They threw a welcome home party for Madeline, with cake and balloons. Madeline felt loved and special, surrounded by her friends and Miss Clavel. From that day on, Madeline's adventures continued. She was still the smallest, but now she was also the bravest. She faced each new day with courage and curiosity, always ready for whatever excitement Paris had to offer. Her friends looked up to her, inspired by her fearless spirit. Madeline's story spread throughout Paris. People talked about the little girl, who was so brave in the hospital. Tourists would point at the old house covered with vines, hoping to catch a glimpse of the famous Madeline. She became a symbol of courage for children all over the city. Miss Clavel decided to take the girls on more outings around Paris. They visited the Eiffel Tower, the Louvre, and took boat rides on the Seine. Madeline led the way, always eager to explore and learn. Her curiosity was contagious, and the other girls followed her lead with excitement. One day, Madeline suggested they visit the hospital where she had stayed. She wanted to cheer up the children who were sick. Miss Clavel thought it was a wonderful idea. The girls prepared small gifts and cards. They sang and told stories. Madeline's kindness touched hearts. The hospital staff remembered her. The sick children were inspired and felt hopeful. Madeline realized she could help others. As time passed, Madeline continued to grow and learn. She excelled in school and always stood up for what was right. Her adventures became legendary among the children of Paris. Madeline taught her friends that being small didn't mean you couldn't be brave or make a difference in the world. The seasons changed in Paris, but life in the old house remained joyful. Madeline and friends faced challenges together, supporting each other. Miss Clavel watched with pride, knowing Madeline's spirit brought them closer. Years later, Madeline became a teacher, inspiring kids with stories of courage. Madeline's legacy lived on, reminding everyone that even the smallest person can have the biggest heart and the bravest spirit. The tale of Madeline became beloved worldwide. Children learned that with courage, kindness, and adventure, they could overcome challenges and make the world better, just like Madeline in Paris.